There comes a moment in every man's life when the world grows silent. The phone stops ringing. The opportunities disappear. The mirror becomes uncomfortable. And in that silence, a man either collapses or he rebuilds. What if I told you that rebuilding does not begin with money, luck, or support? It begins with 7 sentences. 7 sentences that can lift a man from despair to direction. 7 sentences that can turn pain into power. Let us begin. No matter how heavy today feels, no matter how many doors have closed, no matter how many nights you have stared at the ceiling, questioning your worth, this chapter is not the whole book. You are living a page, not the final paragraph. There are moments when a man looks at his life and sees only mistakes, failed attempts, broken relationships, lost money, lost respect, lost confidence. And in that pain, he begins to believe a dangerous lie that this is all there is, that this is how his story ends. But the author of your life has not put down the pen. If you believe in God, then you must also believe that nothing in your life is random. The delays are not denial. The hardship is not abandonment. The silence is not absence. Sometimes the darkest chapters are written to prepare you for a plot twist so powerful that you will one day thank God for the pain you once begged him to remove. Remember the prophets, the righteous, the patient ones. Their stories were filled with loss, rejection, and trials before honor arrived. Prophet Yusuf was thrown into a well before he was placed in a palace. Prophet Ayub lost everything before he regained more than he had. Their suffering was not the end of their story, it was the preparation. Why would your life be any different? The tears you cried were recorded. The prayers whispered at night were heard. The moments you felt unseen were seen by the one who sees all. And if he is still giving you breathe this morning, then he is still writing something through you. You may feel behind. You may feel embarrassed. You may feel like everyone else is moving forward while you are stuck in one painful chapter. But books are not judged by a single page. Victory often hides behind the page you are afraid to turn. The heartbreak did not finish you. The failure did not cancel you. The rejection did not define you. It refined you. Your scars are not proof of weakness, they are proof that you survived. And survival is evidence that you are meant for more. Every setback carved depth into your character. Every disappointment strengthened your endurance. Every unanswered prayer redirected you towards something better, even if you could not see it at the time. There is a reason you still feel that small fire inside you, that quiet voice that refuses to die, that whisper that says, try again. That is not coincidence. That is divine design. God does not waste pain. He transforms it. He molds men in valleys before he elevates them on mountains. He breaks pride before he builds purpose. He empties hands before he fills hearts. Right now, you may be in a chapter called confusion, or loss, or rebuilding. But the title of the book is not confusion. The title is growth. The title is redemption. The title is becoming. And one day you will look back at this season with tears in your eyes, not because it broke you, but because it shaped you. You will realize that what felt like the end was simply the turning of a page. You will see that the rejection protected you. The delay strengthened you. The struggle matured you. As long as you are alive, the pen is still moving. As long as you are breathing, the story is unfolding. As long as your heart still beats, purpose is still being prepared. The moment a man stops pointing outward and starts looking inward, something shifts inside him. Blame feels comfortable, but it is a cage. It gives temporary relief while silently stealing strength. The day you say, this is on me, is the day your power begins to return. Responsibility is not about carrying shame. It is about reclaiming control. When you blame people, you give them authority over your future. When you blame circumstances, you surrender to randomness. But when you accept responsibility, you step back into the driver's seat of your own life. You may not control everything that happened, but you always control what happens next. There is something deeply spiritual about responsibility. God gave human beings free will. With that gift comes accountability. The Quran reminds us that every soul earns what it strives for. That means your effort matters. Your choices matter. Your discipline matters. You are not a victim of destiny, you are a participant in it. Even when others were unfair. even when opportunities were taken, even when doors were closed. You still hold authority over your response, and response is power. It takes courage to say, I allowed this standard. It takes maturity to say, I tolerated what I should not have. It takes strength to say, I could have done better. But that courage, that maturity, that strength, they awaken something fierce inside you. Because if you were part of the problem, you can now become the solution. Responsibility removes excuses, and excuses are silent thieves. They steal years. They steal potential. They steal dreams while making you feel justified. The moment excuses leave, growth begins. When you take responsibility for your finances, you begin to study money. When you take responsibility for your health, you begin to train your body. When you take responsibility for your faith, you begin to discipline your prayers. When you take responsibility for your mindset, you begin to guard your thoughts. Suddenly, life stops happening to you and starts happening through you. There is emotional pain in admitting fault. Pride resists it. Ego fights it. But humility unlocks transformation. God elevates those who humble themselves. The man who bows his ego rises in character. Responsibility does not mean condemning yourself. It means believing you are capable of change. It means trusting that God did not create you powerless. It means recognizing that your hands, your mind, your time, these are tools entrusted to you. And what you build with them is up to you. The powerful truth is this. When you accept responsibility, you eliminate helplessness. You replace, why is this happening to me, with what can I do about it? That question alone can change the direction of a life. Responsibility restores discipline. Responsibility restores respect. Responsibility restores self-belief. Because the moment you realize that your future depends largely on your daily decisions, you stop waiting to be rescued. You start rebuilding. No matter how far you think you have fallen, no matter how late you believe it is, no matter how many mistakes sit behind you like shadows, growth is still within reach. As long as you are breathing, you are not finished. As long as your heart beats, improvement remains possible. A tree does not stop growing because of one harsh winter. It stands through the storm, sheds what is weak, and when the season changes, it rises again. You are no different. Your winter season was not meant to bury you. It was meant to build your roots. Many people confuse failure with finality. They think because something did not work, they cannot work. But failure is feedback. It is instruction. It is a teacher that speaks in discomfort. And those who listen to it with humility rise wiser, stronger, and more prepared. There is a powerful spiritual truth here. God did not create you stagnant. Everything in creation grows, plants stretch toward the sun, rivers carve through stone, children mature into adults. Growth is part of divine design. To refuse growth is to resist your own nature. The Quran reminds us that God does not change the condition of a people until they change what is within themselves. That means transformation is accessible. It begins internally. When your mindset shifts, your direction shifts. When your habits shift, your future shifts. You may feel behind others. You may compare your chapter to someone else's highlight. But growth is not a race, it is a process, and processes take patience. The strongest foundations are built slowly. Every skill can be learned. Every habit can be trained. Every weakness can be strengthened. The mind is adaptable. The body is adaptable. The spirit is adaptable. What feels impossible today can feel natural tomorrow if you commit to daily improvement. Growth does not require perfection. It requires intention. Read one page. Wake up 10 minutes earlier. Pray with more focus. Speak with more discipline. Choose one better decision than yesterday. Small adjustments compound into massive transformation. And understand this pain often signals growth. Muscles grow under tension. Character grows under pressure. Faith grows under trials. The discomfort you feel may not be a sign of breaking, but a sign of becoming. Do not let shame convince you that you are stuck. Shame freezes progress. Responsibility and hope ignite it. When you believe you can grow, you begin to search for ways to improve. And when you search, you find. Doors appear. Mentors appear. Opportunities appear. God did not give you potential as decoration. He gave it as a responsibility. Growth is available in your thinking. Growth is available in your discipline. Growth is available in your faith. Growth is available in your character. The only question is whether you will reach for it. Too many people live chained to moments that are already gone. They replay mistakes in their minds like a punishment they believe they deserve. They introduce themselves to the world through their failures. They allow one chapter to define the entire book. But the past has no power except the power you give it. Yes, you made mistakes. Yes, you trusted the wrong people. Yes, you lost opportunities, money, time, respect. But none of those moments were meant to imprison you. They were meant to instruct you. A lesson corrects. A sentence condemns. And God is not in the business of condemning those who are willing to repent, learn, and rise. In faith, we are taught that sincere repentance wipes away sin. That mercy is greater than error. That no matter how far a person has drifted, the door back is always open. If the Creator of the universe does not hold your past against you once you turn back sincerely, why are you holding it against yourself? The enemy of progress is not failure, it is shame. Shame whispers, "You are your mistake." Growth says, "You made a mistake." There is a difference. When you treat the past as a life sentence, you stop trying. You shrink your goals. You sabotage opportunities. You believe you are disqualified from success, from love, from leadership, from greatness. But when you treat the past as a lesson, you extract wisdom from it. That heartbreak taught you standards. That betrayal taught you discernment. That financial loss taught you discipline. That humiliation taught you humility. Nothing was wasted unless you refused to learn from it. Even the prophets faced moments that tested them deeply. Yet their trials became part of their elevation. Hardship refined them. Struggle strengthened them. Their stories remind us that falling short is part of being human, but staying down is a choice. You cannot rewrite yesterday, but you can reinterpret it. Instead of saying, "I ruined everything," say, "I was being prepared." Instead of saying, "I lost my chance," say, "I gained awareness." Instead of saying, "I am disqualified," say, "I am under construction." Your scars are not proof of permanent damage. They are evidence of survival. And survival means there is still purpose ahead. A life sentence suggests there is no release. But growth always offers release. Wisdom offers release. Forgiveness offers release. The past is a classroom, not a cage. And the moment you decide to graduate from it, you stop serving time and start serving purpose. A man is not rebuilt in a single breakthrough moment. He is rebuilt in quiet mornings when no one is watching, in small promises kept, in habits repeated, in choices made when it would be easier to quit. Identity is not declared, it is demonstrated. You do not become confident by saying, "I am confident." You become confident by doing difficult things consistently. You do not become strong by wishing for strength. You become strong by lifting what is heavy every day. Discipline is the bridge between who you were and who you are becoming. When a man has fallen, what hurts most is not the loss, it is the way he begins to see himself. He starts to doubt his word. He questions his reliability. He loses trust in his own promises. That is the real damage. And the only way to restore that trust is daily discipline. Wake up when you said you would. Pray when it is time to pray. Work when it is time to work. Train when it is time to train. Each small act says to your soul, "You can rely on me again." There is something deeply spiritual about discipline. Faith itself is built on consistency. Daily prayer, regular remembrance, steady gratitude. God does not ask for perfection, he asks for sincerity and persistence. The most beloved deeds are those done consistently, even if they are small. Discipline purifies intention. It strengthens character. It silences laziness. It humbles ego. You may not see dramatic change in one day, but one day of discipline turns into 1 week. 1 week turns into 1 month. 1 month turns into a year. And 1 year of disciplined living can completely transform a man's reputation, finances, health, and faith. Daily discipline changes how you walk. It changes how you speak. It changes how you think. Because every kept promise to yourself rebuilds self-respect. Emotions are unstable. Motivation rises and falls. But discipline stands firm. It works when you are tired. It acts when you are discouraged. It continues when feelings disappear. And here is the emotional truth. The man you want to become is waiting on the other side of your daily habits. Not next year. Not after a miracle. Not when circumstances improve. But today. When you choose discipline, you choose transformation. When you choose consistency, you choose credibility. When you choose structured effort, you choose strength. Your identity is shaped by what you repeatedly do. And if you repeatedly choose growth, responsibility, faith, and effort, your identity cannot remain broken. Long before a man changes his circumstances, he changes his thinking. Every action begins as an idea. Every success begins as a belief. Every failure begins as a silent conversation within the mind. The life you are living right now is, in many ways, a reflection of what you have been thinking about most. If a man constantly tells himself, "I am not capable," he will hesitate. He will shrink from opportunity. He will sabotage progress before it begins. But if he tells himself, with effort and faith, "I can improve," his behavior shifts, his posture changes, his decisions strengthen. The battlefield is not outside, it is within. Faith teaches us that intentions matter, that what lives in the heart carries weight. God knows what you conceal and what you declare. If your thoughts are filled with fear, doubt, envy, and resentment, that poison slowly shapes your words and actions. But if your thoughts are filled with gratitude, vision, patience, and trust in God, your reality begins to reflect that inner strength. You become what you consistently think about. Think weakness, and you act weak. Think growth, and you pursue growth. Think defeat, and you surrender. Think possibility, and you search for solutions. Your mind is like soil. Whatever you plant in it will grow. If you plant complaints, you harvest frustration. If you plant discipline, you harvest progress. If you plant belief, you harvest achievement. Many people underestimate the power of a single thought. But a single thought repeated daily becomes a belief. A belief repeated becomes an identity. And identity shapes destiny. That is why guarding your thoughts is an act of strength. When negative whispers say, "It's over," answer them with truth. When fear says, "You will fail again," answer with effort. When doubt says, "You are not enough," remember that God does not create without purpose. Your Creator did not design you accidentally. You were given abilities, intelligence, and potential intentionally. To constantly think of yourself as useless is to question divine wisdom. Renew your thoughts daily. Feed your mind with knowledge. Surround yourself with voices that elevate you. Limit what weakens your focus. Protect your inner dialogue like you would protect something sacred, because it is sacred. Your thoughts influence your energy. Your energy influences your actions. Your actions influence your results. And your results shape the reality you live in. Change the conversation in your mind, and you begin to change the direction of your life. Defeat is not the moment you fall. Defeat is the moment you decide not to rise again. Life will test every man. It will test his patience, his faith, his courage, and his endurance. There will be days when effort feels invisible, when prayers feel unanswered, when progress feels painfully slow. And in those moments, the temptation to quit whispers louder than the voice of hope. But persistence silences that whisper. Persistence is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is quiet determination repeated daily. It is showing up when you are tired. It is trying again when your pride is bruised. It is believing that one more step matters, even when you cannot see the full path ahead. History is filled with people who were not the most talented, not the most connected, not the most gifted, but they refused to stop. They lost battles, but kept fighting. They faced rejection, but kept knocking. They experienced delay, but kept preparing. And eventually, resistance gave way to reward. There is deep spiritual strength in persistence. Faith itself requires it. Prayer requires it. Patience requires it. The Quran repeatedly reminds believers to remain steadfast, for God is with those who endure. That means endurance is not weakness, it is partnership with divine support. When you persist, you are declaring, "I trust that my effort matters." When you persist, you are saying, "This pain will not define me." When you persist, you are proving that your vision is stronger than your fear. Defeat becomes permanent only when effort stops. A business fails, persistence builds another. A relationship ends, persistence heals and teaches. A goal is missed, Persistence recalibrates and continues. The man who refuses to quit cannot be permanently defeated. He may be delayed, he may be tested, he may be humbled, but he will not be destroyed. Persistence strengthens character. It sharpens discipline. It deepens faith. It builds resilience that comfort never could. You may not win today. You may not win tomorrow. But if you continue long enough, you outlast discouragement itself. Storms eventually pass. Critics eventually fade. Doubt eventually weakens. But the person who remains standing gains strength others never develop. The difference between those who succeed and those who surrender is often just one more attempt, one more effort, one more prayer, one more disciplined action when quitting seemed easier. Persistence transforms temporary failure into eventual victory, and the man who keeps moving forward, no matter how slow, ensures that defeat never gets the final word. If you are in a season of rebuilding, understand this: you are not alone, and you are not weak. You are under construction, and construction is noisy, uncomfortable, and slow, but it produces something stronger than before. Say these 7 sentences every day until you believe them. And when you believe them, act on them. Because a man is not defined by how he falls, he is defined by how he rises.